Alright, so we got this vine maple Selfbow to a pretty reasonable floor tiller. It's not perfect, but it'll work for now. Next, I'm going to check the tips and handle for alignment, and I will put in some. I'll trim the tips down to the size they're going to be, and I will put on the tight string and start the tillering process. There you go. Looks pretty good to me. I still got a lot of handle width to reduce, and they're not even on each side by any means. So that gives me a lot of hope for the future. It's gonna line up just right. Be back in a minute. Temp knocks in, and put in pretty hastily, as you can see. This is what the limb's going to look like. The limb tip's going to look like. That's a much more accurate profile right here of what the tip's going to look like. These side knocks are just to see how like mid-limb and fade or bending. I'll get the tips moving after I get them flipped. There's a couple of uneven spots. Alright, so since the last time I've seen you, this has come a ways. Floor tiller has improved. We're on to the long string. As you can see, I haven't got it up to brace yet. Not full brace anyway. I want to take off a little bit more weight and just kind of even things up in a couple of spots before I get onto that. So, yeah, here's a look at the floor tiller thus far. She's bending. Alright, so the stiff spots I mark out with stripes all the way across. And as you can see, if you look at the wood grain, the high spots are where the stiff spots are. There's a high spot right here, there's a high spot right here, and there's a high spot right here, and this whole section is stiff. And it's because, you know, there's these big bumps on the back. And we are going to leave a little bit of extra meat there, but we got so much to take off still that yeah, we're going to tiller that right out. It is pulling 50 pounds at 16 inches with no brace, with just the flat string. I'm not going to pull it past 50 pounds because I want this to be at least a 50-pound bow, and I don't want it to take excessive set. And then if you look here, we've got a high spot here. And then all along here, one side is a little bit higher. It's flexing unevenly on one side, so I'm going to take just a few extra scrapes off of this edge and try and level that out a little bit early on in the tiller, and then I'll be able to just rip material off. This is my scraper. This is an old Stanley saw blade that I take this edge and knock it down to 90, and then roll an edge on it, and man, it works great. It just peels wood off in beautiful little sections. Let me give you an idea. You'll notice that I do a few scrapes in the area that I'm focusing on, and then I take 5 or 6 good scrapes up and down the entire length of the bow limb. And the reason for that is twofold. First, I want to blend it, so I'm not just digging a spot out right here. I want it to blend nicely through the limb. That adds to structural integrity. And two, I have a ton of weight left to remove, and that'll help take some off evenly in little places, or in little increments. Low brace. I'm pretty satisfied with that as a first low brace. There's obviously some areas that need some work, but I've got a lot of draw weight left to come off of here, and so far so good. Yeah, it's pretty pleased with that. This area right here I'm leaving stiff intentionally. I will get this weird little whoop-de-doo here moving a little bit more with this next scraping session, and I'm leaving the tips intentionally thicker than the rest. This one's super thick. I could probably bring that down a lot, but I'm going to really narrow these up quite a lot.